Hi, and welcome to another episode of Why I Do What I Do. Today we'll be hearing from Sammy Turton, aka Four String Boy, and the always fabulous Paul Mansell. Take it away, guys.
Hello, my name's Sammy, aka Four String Boy, and a good question is, why do I do what I do? Now, I see myself as two very sort of split roles. I'm a music teacher, and I'm also a sort of composer and performer. So let's talk about the teaching side first. The biggest reason I actually got into teaching was because around college, I studied music, and I had some absolutely fantastic teachers who sort of really inspired me, not just on a musician's level, but just on how much they could inspire people around it. Now, that sort of communication that I always had with them, the way they treated people, the way they looked at being a musician, that really sort of resonated with me. And so I always wanted to sort of be able to pass on those similar views and sort of how the friendliness and the community side of being a musician, and also the having taught in schools, having seen the crushing side that sometimes the academic can have on children versus when they play an instrument and they want to do something that they actually enjoy. Being able to inspire that and bring that out to somebody was a big reason why I wanted to become a teacher. I also consider myself quite a people person. So I just like talking to people and listening to people and learning about people. So it's weird, kind of being a music teacher half the time is like just having a conversation with a friend, and it's not just about talking about how we think about learning on your instrument, but how we think about learning as humans, or how your hands learn, or the science behind learning, and sort of your feelings and frustrations behind that. So delving into that and how different people work, I always find fascinating, and especially how different people learn. So for me as a teacher, finding somebody who has no idea what I'm talking about and struggles to learn how I'm explaining it is great for me, because then it gives me a new way to adapt what I'm explaining. So it's always, teaching for me has always basically been the best way of learning. So the other side is I'm a ukulele performer, whether it's online or in person, and I sort of do some composing. I've been a musician since the age of 14. I've been a bass player since then. So I got into that because of just the sheer, I wanted to be like these bands that I was looking at. And so I got into gigging actually very early on, and pretty much straight away, 6 months of playing the bass and I was gigging straight away. The gigging aspect has always been a big thing for me. The performing aspect has always been a big thing for me. I think it goes hand in hand with teaching. I think almost a lot of times teaching and performing are very much the same thing. So for me, the performance aspect is very vital to me. I feel like I want to be out there performing, whether it is teaching or whether it's actually playing an instrument. Now, the composing side is very much, I feel like it is with the playing side. So I quite enjoy puzzles and stuff. Big old nerd. So the main reason I find composing can be quite a puzzle sometimes, and thinking about the theory and how it all sits together, I find absolutely fascinating. So not only with me writing brand new things and creating brand new things, actually when I'm writing covers and sort of deconstructing music that other people have written, I always find it fascinating, and talking about why sort of they've done this here and having a look at that and seeing what the patterns are. The biggest thing for me is that actually I've gone into music all my life. I studied it at college, I studied it at university, and then I was a music lecturer, and then I've gone to private teaching. So it's always something I've stuck with, just from the sheer joy of what instruments bring to people. It's one of those subjects where I think everybody is genuinely excited to start it, which I can't see how many other subjects are also like that. So seeing the excitement and the joy in somebody, and sort of the aspiration when they first come to an instrument, nothing beats that. It is wonderful to capture that part of somebody, no matter what else is going on in their life or how they feel about other things.
So, why do I do what I do? Well, I guess first of all I better determine what I do. Basically, my time is split sort of three ways between performing on the ukulele, writing on the ukulele, and teaching on the ukulele. So why do I sort of choose to do these three things for a living? I guess if you look at performing, even from a young child, I was really into music. Music was the one thing that really excited me, and I always sort of wanted to be sort of just involved in music, whether it was performing, recording, whatever. So when it comes to performing, it's just such a fun and rewarding thing to do. You know, if you do a gig, especially in a ukulele crowd, and then you know that people are getting something from that, you're giving something to them. It's just such a sense of achievement when you do that. I also love the interaction that when you that's normally sort of either when you're on stage or afterwards, that people want to chat and listen to your stories and basically hear you play. When it comes to writing, why do I do writing? Again, there's an awful sense of achievement when you're writing something. I think for me, the writing of the books, and this, you have to be careful that you don't come across slightly egotistical here, but for me it was about leaving something. So not that I'm planning on going anywhere yet, but I love the fact that I've done these books and they'll be out there. And they'll be out there forever. And whilst I in no way compare myself to the classical composers of many, many years ago, it does fascinate me that today I was learning a piece for a concert in a couple of months, and that piece was 500 years old. And whilst I don't think my music will still be being played in 500 years, a little bit of me thinks, it's an achievement for me that I've put this music out there, it's been published, people are playing it, and hopefully we'll continue to play it in years to come. So I think when you write a piece of music and then hear someone else perform it, and I'm sure, Morgana, I'm sure you appreciate this, it's the best thing in the world that someone has taken the time to learn a piece that you sat down and wrote. There's an incredible sense of achievement there. The final thing that I do is teaching, and I think it's beautiful to be able to share with others any sort of skill, or if you want to call it talent, that you may have, and to watch people grow, as you teach them, see the smile on their face when they can suddenly play. I was lucky, I had a fantastic teacher, and I still think about what he gave to me, which was so much, and I just love passing that on. If you're going to ask me specifically why the ukulele, I think I kind of just fell into it. I mean, I was naturally more of a guitarist, but the ukulele world is a lot more sort of fun, entertaining, open, and when you do a gig on the ukulele, the crowd will sit about a metre away from you, and they're watching everything that you do, and then afterwards they want to ask you a million questions, and I love that. I love the fact that they're so involved and it makes you so involved. So I guess that's sort of the reasons why I do what I do, and I love it. Thank you very much for listening.
A big thank you to both Paul and Sammy for taking the time to give us their thoughts on why they do what they do. And if you found this helpful, please hit the like. If you feel so inclined, have a subscribe. It really helps my channel. And until next time, catch you later.